The chief negotiator for the Syrian opposition, Mohammed Aloush, has resigned over frustration of a lack of progress in the Geneva talks. Aloush is from the High Negotiations Committee, which suspended UN-brokered negotiations in Geneva with the Syrian regime last month. No date has been set to resume the talks. The agency says it's frustrated by the lack of humanitarian aid reaching besieged areas and the lack of movement towards a political transition, which includes the removal of Bashar al-Assad. Let's go to our reporter Andrew Hopkins, who is in the Turkish city of Gaziantep on the Turkey-Syria border. How much of a blow is this for the peace process, Andrew?
Yeah, Marlene, this is quite a big blow to a peace process which is already struggling to keep its head above water. As you just mentioned there, the opposition, the HNC, effectively pulled out of this process in April this year. This was when there was a huge upsurge in violence in Aleppo. They said that the ceasefire, this cessation of hostilities that had been agreed, had effectively collapsed. And just in the last few days, the UN envoy to Syria, Staffan de Mistura, has said that there's little likelihood of those talks being resumed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And also in Aloush's resignation statement, he mentioned that one of the reasons was that he was unhappy that aid was not getting through to besieged areas where ordinary Syrians were living. Now, something to look out for in the next few days is that after June the 1st, the UN has said it will start doing airdrops of aid to these areas. And to do that, it's going to need the cooperation of the Syrian regime. And it'll be interesting to see whether those plans are carried out as scheduled or not.
Andrew, so where does this leave the High Negotiations Committee?
Well, it seems to indicate there's quite a lack of confidence in the top ranks of the HNC. Just to tell you about two figures in particular, Mohammed Aloush, who's just resigned, if we just give you a few details about him, he's the chief peace negotiator of the Syrian main opposition group known as the Higher Negotiations Committee, and a new negotiator hasn't been appointed to replace him just yet. But the HNC is made up of various rebel groups, rebel factions, and Aloush is the political leader of the Jaish al-Islam, otherwise known as the Army of Islam. And the Jaish al-Islam is also a member of the Islamic Front, which is founded from a merger of mainly Sunni groups, which is known for its strong organization and management of the economy in the area that it controls. Now, it's just not only Aloush who's been unhappy in recent times. In the last 24 hours, another man who's called Asad al-Zubi has given an interview to a TV station in the United Arab Emirates, and he's the head of the delegation itself, and he told them that he wanted to resign as well, but he didn't actually say whether he followed through on that promise or not. And al-Zubi, he was a Syrian army officer, then defected to the FSA, the Free Syrian Army. So it shows that it's not just the top ranks of the Jaish al-Islam that are unhappy, it's other factions as well in this umbrella group, which is called the Higher Negotiations Committee.
Okay, Andrew, many thanks for that. Andrew Hopkins there for us in Gaziantep.